trials in this light appear all the same. Gathered in praise and thanks, gathered in sympathy now and then, gathered in hope, compassion and strength, gathered to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gathering praise in thanks, gathering sympathy now and then, gathering hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding in all. Gathering praise in thanks, gathering sympathy now and then, gathering hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
Welcome, friends, gathered in the sanctuary on Zoom and later on our YouTube channel. It is so good to be together. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Franklin, to the Smoky Mountains of Western North Carolina and Northeast Georgia, and the ancestral home of the Cherokee people. We're a lay-led congregation of progressive minds and caring connections for over 53 years. My name is Mary Teslow, and I'm delighted to be your service leader this morning. We extend a warm welcome to those who may be visiting, either on Zoom or here in the sanctuary. We're so glad you're with us and look forward to getting to know you better. There'll be an opportunity to introduce yourself later in the service, and those here can sign up for the newsletter in the guest book in the foyer. As we gather on Sunday, we take a moment to greet each other on Zoom and here in the sanctuary, affectionately the Zoomies and the Roomies. Roomies, please rise in body or spirit for our wave hello, and you'll turn to your right to above the door and wave hello. Yay, look at folks to see, tremendous. And now our gathering song, we'll see how we do without our Miss Jude to lead us. Our gathering song, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life,
simple act of connection reminds us that despite our distance, we are a part of this loving community. As a lay-led congregation, we appreciate all our volunteers, including our Sunday service team, Warren, Ben, Edgar, and Penny on Zoom, Claire for our YouTube channel, our greeter Bill this morning, and Dana, Karen, and Jeff for hospitality. Any announcements for the fellowship starting on Zoom? Please be sure to keep up to date by checking the UU View, our website, and the bulletin board downstairs in Celebration Hall. As respiratory viruses and their variants increase as the weather chills and the air dries, we encourage everyone to consider vaccinations and joining us on Zoom if you don't feel well. We also have supplies at the entry and a reminder that we request anyone testing positive or significantly exposed to contact our president, Jude Lowry. Our fellowship is a light for liberal religion in the mountains that values diversity and the richness it brings to our community. Our celebration of diversity is reflected in the variety of our Sunday services. In addition to different topics, our service sequence and length sometimes vary. We hope today's service enriches your journey of discovery. In Unitarian Universalism, risk and trust arise from our commitment to dignity, compassion, and the courage to seek truth together, believing that relationship is worth the vulnerability it requires. In a world filled with uncertainty, how do we take the risk necessary to grow, heal, and trust? Rev Ruth Mackenzie explores the connection between risk and trust as we look forward to the new year. Our chalice lighting this morning. We light this chalice to honor the courage it takes to trust one another, trust the unfolding of truth, trust that love is stronger than fear. May this flame remind us that every act of openness is a risk, and every risk taken in love is a step toward deeper community. Our opening words: we gather this morning knowing that to be human is to live with uncertainty. We risk disappointment when we care, risk misunderstanding when we speak honestly, risk change when we stay open to one another. And yet, it is through these risks that trust is born. Trust in relationship, trust in shared values, trust that love can hold us even when outcomes are unknown. Let us enter this time together with courage, curiosity, and care. Our opening hymn celebrates this trusting relationship across differences. It's We Would Be One, number 318. This morning's sermon is presented by the Rev Ruth Mackenzie. Much of Rev Ruth Mackenzie's career was spent in the ministry of artistry. For the last part of her career, she shifted her focus to the artistry of ministry. She received her Master of Divinity from United Theological Seminary and served First Universalist Church of Minneapolis for 10 years as Minister of Worship and Pastoral Care. She recently served as Minister in Residence at First Unitarian Church in Dallas, Texas. Through much of her ministry, Ruth has endeavored to bring her knowledge of the arts to the creation of worship and ritual experiences that are visceral and meaningful. She's been deeply shaped by her work at First Universalist Church, its commitment to racial justice, and its mission to, quote, create a multiracial, multicultural, and intergenerational faith community of mutual caring and support, where people bring all of who they are and welcome each other with joy. And now, Reverend Ruth's sermon, Stepping into Risk and Landing in Trust.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere but here. That's what I thought to myself. That's true, but I'm talking about in the past. I said to myself, I wouldn't want to be anywhere but here. And it was the day after the election. And I was heartbroken. I had walked around most of the day like a zombie, doing what zombies do, eating lunch, taking the dog on the walk, ignoring the pundits. And now here I was, sitting in this circle of men in a dingy room, a makeshift altar placed in the center of our circle while a fake candle flickered on and off because the battery was just about shot. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here, I thought. I teach a class called Beyond Grief and Loss at a state prison where I run this class. And in prison, everything gets stripped down to its bare essentials. The weather doesn't matter. Old formulas of success and failure don't matter. The election doesn't matter. Whoever is the president, it doesn't matter. What does matter is authenticity. Trustworthy connections matter. A cellmate that you can get along with. A couple of friends who you can commiserate with. At least one or two family members who have stuck by you. Books that keep your mind working matter. A journal, if you're lucky, matters. And in our grief and loss circle, this is the question that matters. What are you willing to risk to repair your life? Over and over, I witness these men do very risky things in a very scary place, talking about friends cut down in a gunfight and openly weeping, trying to figure out how to tell a beloved mother that you were abused by her brother, that your crime didn't come out of nowhere, grieving over a tooth lost in a bar fight, or the loss of childhood innocence, grieving over the real hurt you've done, holding yourself accountable for the real wounds you have inflicted, and at the same time holding space, a sense of compassion for yourself. Trusting there is just may be a way through, even though the ground is wobbly and you're not quite sure where the doorway is. Over and over again, the men in the grief circle are risking big things in order to feel what clean pain feels like. Not dirty pain where you strew it all over everyone and everything around you, but clean pain, to actually feel it, to hold it tenderly and fiercely, to navigate the trauma of their lives differently. Risk and trust are the two essential food groups for feeding your soul and transforming your life. That is what I bear witness to every week at the prison. I can't stop thinking about these men. They stay with me long after classes are over. They inspire me with their bravery to step into great emotional and spiritual risk and somehow land in trust. In the grief and loss circle, we learned that grief is a sacred pathway to healing, not something to be avoided, but in fact embraced. Grief is the way by which we as human beings transform our suffering into fertile ground. The men learn to trust what doesn't quite make sense to them, that which seems illogical, ridiculous, crazy by measure of most of our culture, and yet makes for human flourishing. They start to trust themselves in a whole new way. Now, most of us think of trust as something that is built in grand gestures, someone saving your life or someone rushing to a bedside. And certainly that is true. But social science research says that trust is actually built in very small moments. That's what researcher and social science guru Brené Brown says, and Dr. John Gottman, another researcher on relationships. Trust is built in very small moments. Brown gives these examples. When you ask people, who do you trust and why? They say things like, yeah, well, I really trust my boss because she even asked me how my mom's chemotherapy is going. Or, I trust my neighbor because when something's going on with my kids, no matter what she's doing, she'll come over and she'll help me figure it out. Turns out, we really trust people who attend funerals. Think about that. I think that's true, actually. Certainly, trust built in very small moments has proven true in my prison work. I hand out these small little journals in which the men write during class and then hand them back at the end of each class. And in one of our second or third meetings, a guy leafed through the pages and said, hey, you didn't write any comments in my journal, unlike the homework assignments on which I comment all the time. Yeah, I said, I don't read your journals. I want you to have one place where you can be absolutely honest, so I don't look at them. Now, in a place where everything is scrutinized and examined, bodies strip searched, all correspondences opened, every aspect of life observed, holding their journals as a sacred correspondence they are having with themselves, their private space, is a small but monumental gesture of trust. Thank you, he said, with a catch in his voice. And we all understood we were landing in trust. Now, Brown teases out the building blocks of trust as acts of braving, an acronym she developed to describe the tenets of trust. And I would add, building our capacity and skill as risk takers. She talks about these elements of trust as measurable, observable behaviors and describes them with this acronym, braving. Boundaries. I can only build trust with you when you are clear about your boundaries and you hold them, and you understand my boundaries and you respect them. There is no trust, she says, without boundaries. Reliability. You do what you say you're going to do, not once, but over and over again, and I do what I say I'm going to do, over and over and over again. That means being clear about our limitations, about what we can and cannot do. When we're not honest with ourselves or others about our capacity to follow through, our reliability tank will always be riding on empty. She uses this example, which I am totally guilty of. I meet someone on the street that I haven't seen in a while, and I am genuinely excited about this serendipitous meeting. And I say something like, it's so great to see you. I'll give you a call and we're gonna meet up for coffee. Soon. Even though I know full well that I am so busy, that phone call probably isn't gonna happen for 4 or 5 months. My enthusiasm gets the better of me and my reliability, my trustworthiness takes a hit. Better to say, oh man, it is so good to see you, and just absorb that awkward pause and leave it at that. Accountability. When you mess up, you own it. You apologize, you make amends, and you extend the same grace to me that when I mess up, you allow me to apologize and make amends. The vault. What you share with me, I hold in confidence. I will often say when speaking with friends who know both my spouse and me, I hold what you say in confidence. That means this stays between you and me. And if you want Rebecca to know, you'll just need to tell her yourself. Another aspect of the vault that Brown points out is making sure that you don't participate in gossip or trying to build connections with someone by being negative or gossiping about somebody else. Hey, did you hear about Monique and her divorce? Oh, what a mess. I think her husband's cheating on her. This kind of talk may feel good in the moment. It may feel like connection, but it's actually fraudulent trust. Integrity. I cannot trust you unless you act from a place of integrity and you encourage me to do the same. In Brown's definition, integrity is choosing courage over comfort, doing the right thing over what's fun or fast or convenient, and practicing your values, not just professing your values. Non-judgment. I can only build trust with you if you accompany me when I fall apart, when my heart aches and I'm needing help, and you meet me with non-judgment. And I show up the same way for you. Brown points out that this is super hard for most of us because most of us are much more comfortable being the helper than the helpee. That your self-worth comes from being the helper. But always assuming the position of the helper does not foster trust. Trust is built on mutual vulnerability, on being human with one another in our struggles and our shortcomings, and having someone to turn to who will meet us in non-judgment. Always being the helper does not build trust. Ouch, that one hurts. Generosity. Our relationship is not a trustworthy relationship unless you can assume the most generous things about my actions or my words, and you check in with me. She gives this example. It's been a month since your father's death, and you've talked about this with your friend as something you're dreading and struggling with. And he knows it's a big deal for you. Yet there is no phone call or text or anything on the anniversary date. So you give your friend a call and say, hey, I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I wanted you to know that that 1 month anniversary of my dad's death has passed, and I didn't hear from you. I know you're holding a lot. And I need you to know I missed it, that you missed it, and it's been on my mind. That's a generous kind of trust. These are the tenets of trust. They are the measurable, observable ways we can understand trust. So maybe instead of saying, I don't trust you anymore, or I don't trust that organization, you can break it down a bit and actually get at what broke trust and how might trust be repaired. You know, you keep telling me you're going to do something and you don't follow through. It eats away at my trust. You're not reliable to me. Now, you may be asking yourself right now, what does this have to do with anything? The world has been turned on its head. Cruelty is worshipped. Dominance is glorified. Everything is on sale. Vulnerability is dangerous. Things that we assumed are agreed upon norms of governance are being twisted into some kind of funhouse mirror images of themselves. What is there to trust? Where do we go from here? In the prison environment, I could make some of the same observation. The world gets turned on its head. Cruelty is everywhere. Everything is on sale. Dominance is glorified. Vulnerability is dangerous. The rules for living on inside and living on the outside are some kind of fun house mirror images of themselves. And so I'm paying attention to the risks taken and the small moments of trust that actually make a difference and transform lives. I'm trying to be attentive to what builds a trustworthy community. How can I be an attentive and generous companion to prevent a thread or two of the social fabric from unraveling? I'm trusting the small-scale gestures that can have large-scale impact. I'm often trusting in that which does not make sense, that seems illogical, ridiculous, crazy by the measures of most of our culture. That the small is huge and the tiny is vast. I ask myself, I ask the men, I ask you, what are you willing to risk to repair your life? What are you willing to risk to repair communities? What are you willing to risk to repair democracy? How will we move forward despite the wobbly groundlessness of we don't know? I, for one, will risk grief. I will welcome it into my heart as often as it arrives, for grief is my human capacity to transform suffering into the fertile ground of spiritual depth and for doing the next necessary right thing. Being in relationship with grief creates a strong back and a tender heart for what was, what is, and what is unfolding, and we will need that, my friends. I will be using the tenets of braving writ large to assess where will I place my trust in communities and leaders. Are there clear boundaries? Are they reliable, accountable? Do they understand trustworthy communications? Do they come from a place of integrity? Are they grounded in generosity? This place, First Church, is a trustworthy community. I experienced it 2 years ago in the time I spent with you, and I feel it now. You are braving in all kinds of ways, and I speak about you all the time to my people up north. I say, hey, no bad-mouthing Texas. There's a lot of great people down there, just doing a lot of heavy lifting. So yay, Texas. I know I can't do everything, but I will put my energy, my money, my actions towards social and political frameworks that make for human flourishing. And I will use this framework of braving to take stock of what and how and the why of what I'm doing. Do I have clear boundaries? Am I reliable? Am I generous? I will do my best not to succumb to cynicism and numbness, but instead center love and choose to put my tangible, trustworthy energy there. Trust what you cannot see, the poet says. And I will add, lean into your braving. May it be so, and amen.
Opportunity to share Reverend Ruth's sermon video. Hopefully will inspire you as we go into the new year. Here we are at the threshold of a new year. While many people choose to make resolutions, they seldom stick because they're often intimidating, too big, or too vague. Gretchen Rubin, author and happiness expert, yes, a happiness expert, suggests trying another effective way to set our intentions for the next 12 months. She suggests choose a theme word to guide you by picking a theme instead of setting a lofty goal. It can actually be a refreshing, fun, and creative way to make changes. Think about what you want out of 2026. Brainstorm 10 or 15 words and select a theme that feels significant and motivating. Rubin has found that one-word theme works best when it's a word that sounds powerful, whimsical, and has multiple meanings and associations. Your word might be a noun, a verb, or an adjective. There's no wrong way to pick as long as it's meaningful to you. Once you land on one that resonates, you can even distill it into a visual symbol that can put on the bulletin board or on your phone to remind yourself of your goals. For example, in 2024, Rubin's sister used the word bounce, as in bounce back. That's an active, energetic, almost goofy word, but it captured the idea of resilience in a much more energetic and fun way. She said her sister's symbol, a kangaroo. Rubin's 2025 theme was door. It works on several levels. She was entering the open door phase of parenting, so a door was an appropriate symbol for her new stage of life, which is a time of transition and expectation. She loves to read, and literature is full of significant doors. And of course, a door is an actual physical object, so it lends itself to a visual symbol. This year, Rubin's theme is neighbor. She realized that there are many opportunities for connection in New York City where she lives, while walking dogs or going to local stores. Symbols she's considering are clasped hands, a cardigan, or a cup of sugar. So think about risk, trust, or brave as theme words. What could be good symbols? What else might you choose to use as a theme for 2026? I'm working on mine. And I'll post a link to her piece in the UU View so you can take a look at the full item. Trust is not believing the world will be kind. Trust is believing we will be. In a similar way, trust is not believing the world will be generous. Trust is believing we will be. We are grateful for all the diverse gifts of time, talent, and treasure that are given by so many in love and in hope. Now, please join me in the dedication of our gifts. Gifts given in love and hope continue a cycle of love and hope. Thank you for your support. All financial gifts are appreciated. There's an offering plate at the sanctuary entry where there are also stamped addressed envelopes to mail. Donations are also welcome electronically, including a PayPal link on our website and in the UU View. There's also our celebration jar, which we used this morning, and a basket for coffee hour donations downstairs in Celebration Hall. As we prepare for joys and concerns, know that they'll be edited out before being posted online. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. We now invite you to share the joys and concerns you carry in your hearts. This is a time to speak about what matters most to you, celebrations that lift your spirit, worries that weigh upon you, gratitude that fills you, or needs for which you seek support. Your words matter here. Your experiences matter here. You matter here. If you'd like, you're welcome to share a brief special joy or concern, and I'll drop a pebble in the water. We'll begin with those on Zoom, and we'll follow with those in the sanctuary. Winter brings darker days and holidays that for many bring unpleasant feelings or memories. If you or someone you know is struggling, there's help at 988 is the number for the National Suicide and Crisis Line. This number is available for both texts and calls and is available for free to anyone who is struggling. A last final pebble to acknowledge that trust is not built through grand gestures, but through small moments that people feel seen, heard, and taken seriously. We now invite you into a minute of silence. You can choose to meditate, pray, reflect on something you've heard here today, or simply sit silently in community with others, and I'll bring you back with the chimes. Our closing hymn is Lean on Me.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna somebody to lean on. And please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you ain't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. And if there is a load you have to bear that you can carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean
Our closing words. As we prepare to leave this space, may we remember that trust is not certainty. It's a practice. It is choosing connection even when guarantees are few. May we carry forward the courage to risk kindness, to risk listening, to risk showing up as our whole selves, believing that community is built one brave moment at a time. Our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame. As we extinguish this flame, we do not extinguish its meaning. We carry it with us into conversations and decisions, into moments when trust feels fragile and risk feels real. May we go forth choosing love over fear, relationship over withdrawal, and hope over hesitation. Thank you for joining us today. We know that you have many options on how to spend your Sunday morning, and we're deeply grateful that you chose to spend it in community with us. Following service, those on Zoom are invited to continue the conversation. Those in the sanctuary are invited to social time downstairs in Celebration Hall. Next week, we'll begin the new year with Reverend Tom Tyre and a sermon titled Exploring the Ritual of Prayer. We'll also have Andy Latore at the piano. Please rise in body or spirit. Those in the sanctuary may choose to hold hands. See if we can connect this all up. Yay. Terrific. There we go. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and community is its goal. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. So may it be. Let's turn and wave to each other, our Zoomies and our roomies. Yay, guys. Wonderful.